Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the MLB slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Sunday, August the 9th. We're going to cover the 8-game main slate on Draftkings and then the 12-game slate on Yahoo. Yahoo including all the games, all the way up till Sunday Night Baseball. So we'll talk about both slates, hit on pitching first like we always do, work our way through the pitcher-player pool. I'll talk about all the pitchers that I have interest in today that I feel like I'm going to have exposure to in my lineups. And then we'll talk about 3 specific hitters I like, and towards the end of the video, we will cover some stacks that I like as well, teams I'm going to be stacking up in my tournament lineups. But before we do get started, guys, as always, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed, be sure to click that subscribe button. I am uploading MLB videos pretty much every single day. I've missed a couple videos or a couple days, here and there, but I'm trying to get up MLB videos every single day along with getting up NBA videos every single day. Got a ton of content coming out right now, so I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell as well, so that way you get notified every time I upload. I'll be live streaming soon, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, doing like Q&As and stuff. So if you have notifications on, it will notify you every time I go live and every time I upload a new video. So make sure to do that. And one more thing, if you would like, you can check out my Patreon content that I have to offer, link down below in the description. I do post these videos on YouTube, every day. If you really enjoy these videos and you want to see more content, more that I have to offer, that is linked down below in the description on my Patreon. You can see all that I have to offer over there. I got baseball content and basketball content going up on Patreon every single day. So check all that out, link down in the description. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at today's slate, this Sunday slate. So we will start off at pitcher. I'll go ahead and say it. This is definitely one of the best pitching slates we've had in a while. We got a ton of options today from top to bottom. And starting off at the top, we do have Jacob deGrom in a fantastic spot today, pitching at home against the Marlins. DeGrom is incredibly expensive. He's $11,600 on DraftKings. He's $60 on Yahoo. But I think he's worth the price tag here against the Marlins. I mean, this is a fantastic spot. I love DeGrom on both sides. I think, I'm going to be trying to find some cheap bats today. I think this is definitely a slate where we want to pay up at pitching just because there's so many good pitchers on this slate. So many guys that have elite strikeout upside. And obviously DeGrom is one of them. I mean, this guy had like a 35 or 36% K rate last season. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's around that number. And this Marlins team versus right-handed pitching, they were towards the top of the league in terms of strikeout rate. 8th highest K rate against righties last season, 24.9%. Really bad lineup overall. I mean, this Marlins lineup, you're not scared of the Marlins. 2.7 implied run total, which is the lowest on the slate. DeGrom, a massive favorite at minus 251. You just look at this lineup top to bottom. There's a lot of easy outs, plenty of strikeouts as well. Hard not to like DeGrom here. The only negative is that his price tag is so expensive. But like I said, I'm going to be going for cheap bats today. I want to pay up for DeGrom. I think he can legit go out there and, pitch 7-8 innings, get 12 strikeouts, get like 40 DraftKings points. Like, DeGrom could easily be the high-scoring pitcher on the slate by like 15 points. Like, he's got that much upside in this spot. So I'm going to be jamming into DeGrom. I think the matchup's too good to pass up. And even though he's really expensive, there's some cheap bats I like that we'll talk about. So really like DeGrom. But there's also other guys you could pay up for. You got Jose Barrios for $10K against the Royals. I don't mind Barrios here, but, I'm trying to jam into DeGrom on the slate, and there's no way to play DeGrom and Barrios together. I don't think you'll have the salary to do that. I mean, if you want to go to Barrios and then not play DeGrom, you can do that by all means, but I feel like if I'm not playing DeGrom, I'm probably just going to go to like 2 guys in the mid-range. Maybe someone like a Brandon Woodruff against the Reds. I mean, Woodruff's just been so good this season. Through 3 starts, 13, 37, 16 DraftKings points. He's had some tough matchups against a really good White Sox team with a lot of power. Did mow down the Pittsburgh Pirates, though. I mean, 6 and a third inning, only allowed 1 hit, 0 runs, 10 strikeouts. Somewhat tough matchup against the Cubs as well. I mean, this isn't like an ideal spot against the Reds, but the Reds do have some easy outs in their lineup. You can get some strikeouts towards the bottom of that lineup as well. With a guy like Kyle Farmer, I know he strikes out a good amount. I'm pretty sure Nick Senzel against righties will strike out a good amount. Castellanos, Suarez, I'm pretty sure both those guys will strike out a good amount against right-handed pitching. Only a 3.7 implied run total for the Reds as well. So Woodruff I do like in the mid-range. Really like my boy Andrew Heaney. I feel like I've played Andrew Heaney, every start this season. I'm pretty sure I have. I don't think I played him when he pitched against Oakland, but I've definitely played him the last 2 slates when he's pitched against Seattle. And I like him a lot today here against the Rangers. I think this is a really good spot for him. this Rangers team against left-handed pitching, I mean, they were one of the worst teams against left-handed pitching last season. We'll take a look at the splits against lefties. In terms of strikeout rate, I know they were towards the top of the league in K rate. Third highest K rate against lefties last season at 25.5%. I know their lineup was like really left-handed heavy last season. They've added some righties. You know, they got Nick Solak now. They did add Todd Frazier. But still, like, this is not a lineup you're going to be scared of. There's a lot of strikeouts here. Obviously, like Joey Gallo against lefties will strike out a ton. Odor will strike out. Pretty sure Nick Solak strikes out as well. Todd Frazier will K. I know Torino strikes out a lot. I think Willie Calhoun will strike out a lot against lefties as well. Really like this spot for Andrew Heaney. Just a 3.8 implied run total for the Rangers. You know, it's going to be hot in Texas, but they're going to have the roof closed, so it should be, you know, it's going to play as a pitcher's ballpark. This Texas stadium, you know, it's not that hitter-friendly ballpark that it used to be. Now that they have the roof to, you know, mitigate the heat, you're going to see some low totals in Texas, and that's what we got today. Just a 3.8 implied run total for the Rangers, just a 4.3 implied total for the Angels. I like both sides, or pitching on both sides of this game. You know, if you want to go to Lance Lynn at 9,700, I don't mind him. But I do like Andrew Heaney a lot at 7,800. I mean, you played DeGrom and Heaney. That still leaves you over 3,800 remaining per player, which you can easily work around on DraftKings. You know, you can definitely get, you know, some good bats and some decent bats with 3,800 left per player. Just might have to punt a couple positions. But some other pitchers, you know, Spencer Turnbull against the Pirates, I don't mind. The Pirates are not a team that strikes out much, but Turnbull's been really consistent so far to start the season. He's faced the Reds twice, and through 2 starts against them, 21 and 23 DraftKings points, 6 and 8 strikeouts. I mean, this is a guy that can get strikeouts. Against a Pirates team, you know, that doesn't have many strikeouts in their lineup, it may be tough for him to do that, but it's a weak Pirates lineup in general. Pretty sure they also have a very low total. Yeah, 4.3 implied run total for the Pirates. I mean, there's not a ton of hitters in this lineup you're going to be scared of. Josh Bell, you know, he's a good power hitter. Adam Frazier, a guy that'll make contact. But, like, when you get the bottom of this lineup with, like, Eric Gonzalez, Cole Tucker, Jacob Stallings, like, these just aren't hitters you're going to be afraid of. Pretty good matchup for Turnbull. I don't mind him at 8K. I think Heaney gives you way more upside, so I do prefer Heaney for a little bit less. But, you know, Turnbull's definitely in play. And then if we're looking for value pitchers, you know, there really isn't much value today. I like the matchup for Steven Brault, but he's only going to probably pitch about 2 or 3 innings. He just pitched on Friday. He threw 32 pitches on Friday, so, you know, I don't expect him to go very deep into this game, so we can't play him. You know, I don't really want to go to, like, Matt Shoemaker against the Red Sox. Pablo Lopez against the Mets is someone you could definitely consider. You know, the Mets, you know, it's not the, you know, greatest lineup. I mean, they've been good so far this season, but, like, still, there's definitely some easy outs in this lineup, especially when you get to the bottom. Their top, you know, 4 or 5 hitters, though, a lot of power there with, like, Peter Alonso, obviously. Michael Conforto's shown a lot of power. J.D. Davis has power. But there are some strikeouts. Peter Alonso will strike out a lot. I know Dominic Smith, I think he'll strike out a lot. Ramos and Davis, I think, both have decent K rates, like 20, 22% K rates against right-handed pitching. You know, 4.4 implied run total for the Mets really isn't that high, so it's 7K. If I'm going to play a pitcher like under 8K, not named Andrew Heaney, it would probably be Pablo Lopez at 7K. But, like, I don't want to go to Singer against the Twins. I doubt I go to Evaldi against the Blue Jays. Don't want to play Vince Velasquez against the Braves. One thing to note is that this Braves-Phillies game is a doubleheader. You know, it's the first game of a doubleheader, and with how the rules are this season, doubleheaders only last 7 innings. So that's something worth noting. If you're rostering players from this Braves-Phillies game, you know, you're only going to get 7 innings from that game, so something worth noting, especially if you're, like, rostering hitters. The game, you know, unless the game goes into extra innings, you're only going to get maybe 2 to 3 at-bats from your hitters at most, unless, like, you stack them and they just go off. So definitely note that. I guess if you're playing a pitcher in that game, you know, I don't know if this, like, the same rules apply. So if they pitch 5 innings and get a win, like, will they still get a win even though the game's only going 7 innings? If they, you know, after the 7 innings, if they're still, you know, on the mound, does it count as a complete game shutout or a complete game? You know, I don't really know there. I don't know how those stats are going to work. But DraftKings did make a little blurb here. It says, the Braves-Philly game and game set is scheduled for 7 innings at its first game of a doubleheader. There is no change to scoring, and we will match official MLB stats. So I'm guessing, you know, if you roster a pitcher in this Braves-Phillies game and they throw a complete game through 7 innings, you're going to get credit for that. So I guess it would be easier for them to get a complete game. It's probably going to be easier for them to get a win too. But still, you know, I doubt I go to pitchers in that game anyway. There's not really any bats. I mean, I guess you could roster some Braves bats against Velasquez. Like, I could see stacking the Braves today, but just note, you know, the game's only going 7 innings. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for pitcher. A lot of good names at the top. In terms of value, there's not like really good value. I mean, Pablo Lopez at 7K, Heaney I would consider a value at 7,800. But I mean, we got guys like DeGrom, Barrios, Lance Lynn, Sonny Gray, Charlie Morton and James Paxton going up against each other, Woodruff, Turnbull. So a pretty good pitching slate. Going over to Yahoo, finishing out pitcher over there. They do include, all the games today. They're having a 12-game main slate. So we do have some pitchers like in the 4 o'clock games we need to mention. First off, you got Herman Marquez against the Mariners. I love Herman Marquez over on Yahoo. He's expensive at $50, but you can definitely fit him in. Yahoo is always the site where I try and pay up for both of my pitcher spots if possible, if I like pitching at the top, because their hitter pricing is always really soft. It's very easy to pay up for 2 pitchers over on Yahoo. I definitely like going with DeGrom and Marquez. I think that's the way I want to go on this Sunday slate. There's other guys you could consider. Like you got Walker Buehler against the Giants. I don't mind him for $49, but he threw 79 pitches his last start, so I'm guessing he can go probably 80 to 90 pitches. I still prefer Marquez though. Marquez just looks so good so far this season. 22 fantasy points, 31 fantasy points. Even in Core's last game, 33 fantasy points. Like this is a guy that has good strikeout stuff. Facing a Mariners team that gets a lot that strikes out a lot against righties. I like Marquez quite a bit. And then you got like Heaney you could go to, but some other pitchers. I thought there was one more guy I saw that I wanted to mention. It might have just been Marquez and Buehler. I thought there was someone else in the 4 o'clock game that I wanted to mention. Okay, I guess not. So Marquez and Buehler were the 2 guys I wanted to talk about on Yahoo, specifically Herman Marquez. I really like him at $50. I think you can definitely play him and DeGrom together, especially like if you play cash games for MLB. I would always recommend paying up for both of your pitcher spots on Yahoo. You're going to see a lot of the pros do that. Guys like Mike Love and Papa Gates, they're going to jam in DeGrom and Marquez or jam in DeGrom, Bieber. You're going to see, 2 expensive pitchers in their lineups, and then they're just going to roster like, cheap bats batting towards the top of the order. That's usually always the route to go in terms of like building an optimal lineup on Yahoo. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for pitcher today, guys. Now before we we'll start off with some bats. We'll do that, and then we'll hit on stacks as well. So starting off with a couple bats I like, the Tigers are not a team that I like rostering hitters. I don't like rostering the Tigers bats, but I like the spot for them today against Stephen Brault. I don't think Stephen Brault's that good of a pitcher. If we do look at his numbers last season against righties, he did allow a 351 WOBA to righties. If we look at the home runs, he gave up 1.25 home runs per 9 as well. Doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, just a 17.9% K rate. I know the Tigers don't have a ton of good hitters in their lineup, but Jonathan Scope and CJ Cron are 2 guys that actually have great numbers against left-handed pitching. Both those guys hit left-handed pitching very well, and they are insanely cheap on DraftKings. Jonathan Scope's only $3,200. CJ Cron's only $3,100. I like both of them as value plays today, especially because, I want to pay up for DeGrom. I got to get some value in there. We might actually see the Tigers be a somewhat chalky stack today because I think a lot of people are going to pay up for DeGrom, and that's automatically going to put them on cheap hitters. And, even though they don't have that high of a run total, we saw Stephen Brault, he faced this Tigers team, just a couple days ago, and he got absolutely lit up by them. He didn't even complete an inning. He gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks against the Tigers, didn't even finish the inning, so I don't even think he recording it out. So, yeah, Stephen Brault just faced the Tigers, and he got lit up by them. This is a guy that does struggle to righties. The Tigers, not the best lineup, but they do have 2 guys specifically that hit left-handed pitching well that can get to Brault here, and that's definitely C.J. Cron and Jonathan Scope. I do like them quite a bit as value hitters today. You can go to them on Yahoo as well. I think they're pretty cheap on Yahoo too. If you want to stack up the Tigers on Yahoo, I don't mind that at all. But then lastly, to fill out the DraftKings 5, so the Twins are another team that I think really stands out today. Brady Zinger, I would say, on the DraftKings slate is probably one of the worst pitchers going on this slate. Definitely a pitcher I want to stack against, and this Twins team, I always stack them. They just have so much power. It's such a good lineup top to bottom. Max Kepler at the top of that lineup, I like a ton at 4,500. This is a guy that just has a ton of power. He's leading the Twins in home runs this season. I think he has 4 home runs on the season, or 5 home runs, because I think he homered on Saturday night. I think I just got the notification that he homered. I'm pretty sure he leads the team in home runs over like Nelson Cruz. Let's see. So yeah, Sano has 3 home runs. I know Cruz hit 1 on Saturday night, so he has 4 now. But Kepler also hit 1 Saturday night, so he's got 5 home runs on the season. This is a guy that has a lot of power. we don't have much of a sample size on Brady Singer. He's only faced about 32 lefties this season. But against those 32 lefties that he has faced, he's given up a 374 WOBA, given up a 2.57 home runs per 9, given up a ton of bombs, only a 21% K rate against lefties. Really like this spot for some of these left-handed bats from the Twins. I think you can also target the righties, though. Guys like Nelson Cruz, Mitch Garver, I would not shy away from. Miguel Sano. I think the Twins are one of the best stacks today. It's just a matter of can you fit them in. They are somewhat expensive, and this is a slate where I do want to kind of pay up at pitcher, so it might be tough to get a full Twin stack in. You might have to roster some of the guys at the bottom of the lineup, but I usually never have a problem doing that because usually the guys at the bottom of the lineup are going to always come in at low ownership. And if the Twin stack goes off and they score like 8 or 9 runs, there's a good chance, even the guys at the bottom of the lineup probably produced and did something. So really like the Twins as a stack. Really like Max Kepler overall. 4,500 on DraftKings. I think he is one of my favorite plays in the outfield today. But then talking about Yahoo. So Yahoo's hitter pricing has been really weird lately. They've been, there's some hitters on Yahoo that are just incredibly too cheap. Peter Alonso is one guy that really stands out on Yahoo. He was only $13 on Saturday night facing a lefty. He hit a home run Saturday night, and now he's only $12 today. I mean, $12 is like a laughable price tag for Peter Alonso. I know he's been kind of cold to start the season, but if you just look at the guys he's priced around, looking at $12 first baseman, would you rather have Wilmer Flores against Walker Buehler, Josh Bell against Spencer Turnbull? I think that's actually a good spot. I think Josh Bell's too cheap, but Flores against Walker Buehler, you're probably not playing him. Jose Abreu having to face Shane Bieber, you're probably not going to play him at $12. So it's just laughable that Peter Alonso is $12 on Yahoo. Facing a guy, Pablo Lopez, it actually has been good against righties, so it's not the best spot individually. Only allowed a 265 WOBA to righties last season. Only gave up .91 home runs per 9. Lopez definitely struggled more to lefties. But Peter Alonso is just too cheap. I mean, $12 on Yahoo is equivalent to like $4K on DraftKings, maybe even less than that. Just too cheap of a price tag. 4.4 implied run total. I don't think I'm going to be stacking up the Mets. I actually like Lopez today, and I think I will have exposure to him. But I could see him giving up maybe 1 or 2 home runs. Peter Alonso is probably the best bet to hit one out of this team. I mean, the dude just has so much power. I know he strikes out a lot, but you just got to get him to put the bat on the ball, and it's going to go far. So really like Peter Alonso at $12. I think he's way too cheap on Yahoo. And then another guy that I like quite a bit, Sonny Gray is a really good pitcher. I don't think this is a guy that I really want to stack against. I'm not going to be stacking the Brewers today. But Christian Yelich is only $14 on Yahoo. I mean, I know Christian Yelich is another guy that hasn't had the best start to the season, but $14 for Yelich is just a laughable price tag. I mean, we'll take a look at some of the outfielders, priced at the same. Would you rather? Okay, like you got Shohei Ohtani, but he's having to face Lance Lynn, also a really good pitcher. Dylan Moore. There's no way I'm playing Dylan Moore at $14 against Marquez. Gurriel against Evaldi. Yeah, I guess you could go there, but it's so funny that Christian Yelich is $14. Guys like Cole Calhoun's more expensive than Christian Yelich. Mark Canha's more expensive than Christian Yelich. Shin-Soo Choo against Heaney is more expensive than Christian Yelich. Kyle Lewis. I know these guys have been, when you look at their box score, I guess their game log, they have more, fantasy points than Christian Yelich does, but this is still one of the best hitters in the league, in my opinion. He has been heating up as of late. He does have 2 home runs in his last 3 games. He went 0 for 4 on Saturday night, but against Sonny Gray here, if you're going to attack Sonny Gray, you do want to do it with lefties. He was a little bit worse against lefties last season. 269 WOBA, which is actually really good. I mean, this is not a bad pitcher by any means. Sonny Gray is a really good pitcher. But if you're going to attack him, you want to do it with lefties. If I'm going to play someone against Sonny Gray, it's going to be a $14 Christian Yelich. I'm not going to be stacking the Brewers, but, I really like Yelich as a one-off. If there's someone that could hit a home run and go deep off Gray, it would definitely be him. So I think both those 2 guys are really cheap, way too cheap on Yahoo. And then another guy that I like quite a bit on Yahoo, I think, so the Red Sox are going to be a team I expect gets a good amount of ownership today. Right now they do have, I believe, the highest run total on the slate at 5.7 runs. They're facing Matt Shoemaker, a decent pitcher, a guy that, had decent numbers last season, but against this Red Sox team, I think I'd side with the Red Sox here. They still have a really good lineup. They lost Mookie Betts, but still a pretty good lineup, especially like the 1 through 6. Alex Verdugo has been really good so far this season. He's very cheap at only $9. But assuming Andrew Benintendi leads off, this is another guy that's been cold to start the season. But he is minimum salary on Yahoo. That is just too good of a value to pass up, especially if he is leading off. Like, I know he's been really bad. I mean, he's batting .069 to start the season. You know, he doesn't have a home run. I mean, he's been terrible, but he's $7. Like, they're pricing him like he's terrible. They're pricing him like he's just a nobody, a 9-hole hitter. When this is still a really good, hitter, a guy that can hit right-handed pitching pretty well. He can get on, he can steal bases. He does have some upside. And with the Red Sox having one of the highest totals on the slate, I think they're definitely going to be a team you want to get some exposure to. And if Benintendi leads off for $7, he looks like a top value on Yahoo to me. So really like Benintendi as well. Those are some guys I think are just too cheap on Yahoo. We'll talk about some stacks as well. So if you want to stack up Yahoo, I know I didn't, I know I gave 3 hitters from all from different teams, but I still stack on Yahoo. My tournament lineups are going to have stacks in them. But those will probably just be one-offs on target. Definitely going to be stacking the Red Sox though. Don't think I'll go to the Mets or the Brewers. So Alonso and Yelich will be just more one-offs for me. But I'll definitely have Benintendi exposure because I'm going to be stacking up the Red Sox for sure. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for bats today. Just 3 specific hitters I like for Draftkings and for Yahoo. Now before we get out of here, I do want to give you guys some stacks that I like. So, there's not really a ton of high totals on the slate. We actually have a lot of low run totals. But I think some teams that definitely stand out are the Red Sox against Matt Shoemaker. I do like them quite a bit. Even on the other side of that game, I think Eovaldi's a pitcher, when he's not on, he will definitely struggle. He will walk guys. He will give up some bombs. This Blue Jays lineup is pretty good, especially the 1 through 7. Even Teoscar Hernandez, even though he bats 8th, he's been really good to start the season. So I do like the Blue Jays and the Red Sox quite a bit. Obviously I love the Twins. I think they're one of my favorite stacks for sure against Brady Singer. 5.1 implied run total for the Twins. But that kind of covers it for the DraftKings main slate. I don't think I'm going to be going to really any other teams. The Tigers, the Tigers I will for sure have exposure to on DraftKings because they're so cheap and because Brault does struggle to righties. So I do like the Tigers. If we're looking at some games on the Yahoo main slate, some of these later games, not really any stacks stand out here. We got a lot of low totals. I mean, I guess you could target some Dodgers against Kevin Gausman. They're expensive, though. Some of them are. Cody Bellinger's another one of those guys that's, way too cheap on Yahoo. Why is Cody Bellinger $16? Mookie's expensive, though. Jock's price is coming up. Justin Turner's nicely priced at $13, but even the bottom of the lineup guys are pretty expensive. So it's going to be tough to stack the Dodgers on Yahoo, especially if you're paying up at pitcher. I guess you could take some Rockies, right-handed bats against Sheffield, like Story and Arenado. I think Arenado at $17 looks really good. Story's really expensive, though, at $25. Tough to go there. So, yeah, for me, I think it's definitely the Twins, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Tigers. Those are kind of my 4 stacks I like that I feel like I'm going to be going to in my lineups. I'll be mixing and matching maybe some other teams, but those will be, my 4 core stacks for sure. So, yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered everything for this 8-gamer on DraftKings and 12-game slate on Yahoo. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I really do appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy, just hit that like button before you get out of here. As always, I do appreciate the likes. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well. Click that notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You'll never miss out on any of my new uploads. When I go live, when I start live streaming in the next couple of weeks, you'll get a notification every time I do go live. So be sure to do that. Check out my Patreon content as well. It's linked down below in the description. If you want to get more from me, if you enjoy these YouTube videos and you want to see more that I have to offer, that is available on Patreon. You can check that out, linked down below. But best of luck today, guys. I really appreciate you watching the video. I hope you did enjoy, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.